Hello, good morning to all of you. For this semester, I will be handling data structures and applications. My name is Vivek and I will be handling throughout this semester data structures and applications. So for the day we will discuss only the introduction part of it, like what you are going to study, what are the different course objectives and what may be the course outcomes, just to raise the curiosity levels of you. So we'll proceed with the kind of introduction that I wanted to give you. So in the introduction part, you might have learnt by this time already what you call the data. So you might have come across in several different places what you call the data. So the data simply refers to a value or a set of values. So these values may represent anything about something. It may be student data or a faculty data or a bank data, etc. So in turn you define another item, another definition called as the data item, which refers to a single unit of value. Like a single unit of value refers to like your USN or a bank account number, etc. So that is what the basic definition of the data and the data item. So to reiterate, the data simply refers to a value or a set of values. So to store that data into electronic device such as a computer and to access in the right time, in the right manner, you need some way of storing and accessing. So you might have come across by this time the storage devices such as your pen drive or a CD or a DVD, etc. So the data sizes vary. If you compare the CD and DVD, the CD stores less amount of storage or zeros and ones when compared to the DVDs because of the density and the other physical parameters of that. So it varies from one device to the other device. If you have studied how a CD or a DVD, or if you have broken down a CD or DVD into pieces, there you might have come across an aluminum file where the data is going to be stored in the spiral form. In that spiral you will be coming across the so-called grooves. The grooves is going to indicate the zeros and ones. So all the zeros and ones are going to be stored in the form of grooves in a kind of spiral manner. So that is what the CD is. How the CD is going to store is the grooves. The data is going to be stored in the form of a spiral, and in that spiral you will be coming across the grooves. In the similar way, the storage of a pen drive or the storage of the hard disk or a solid state drive varies. How you store and how you retrieve back, it all makes a difference. So in this subject we will be studying the kind of ways how best you can store the different forms of data, let it be audio or video or any kind of matter of fact, the kind of data that you want to store. How do you see that the kind of data that you are going to access or insert or delete or find a particular piece of data, or how do you sort the data? So this we will be studying all about in detail about these things. So the kind of operations that you will be coming across is the way in which you access the data, or the way in which you insert the data into the storage device, or the way in which you delete it, or the way in which you find it, and the way in which you sort it. So likewise you have different operations. Basically what you do in the data structures is, how do you define precisely is, it is a way of organizing and storing data so that operations can be performed efficiently. I'll repeat, it is a data structures is a way of organizing and storing data so that operations can be performed efficiently. So that is what the basic definition of the data structures. And the operations, as I told earlier, it is going to be accessing, inserting, deleting, finding and sorting the data. It's not that these half a dozen operations will be performed by one single data structures. So every data structure has got its own efficiency with which it can do the operations. So that is why you say not all data structures can perform these operations efficiently. So the kind of efficiency may matter with respect to time, or it may matter with respect to the space that is going to be occupied in the memory, etc. Also it is about the data structures is all about how do you render the data elements in terms of relationship for better organization of the storage. Like you will be coming across the kind of singly linked list or doubly linked list or arrays by this time you might have come across, etc. So how best you can organize the storage so that it can be you can be able to perform efficiently the operations such as accessing, inserting, deleting, finding and sorting, etc. So you will be studying in detail throughout the syllabus about the kind of data structures that you will be using, etc. So you will be in the whole syllabus you will be coming across. So this is the basic classification where you come across in the data structures. So what is the classification is, like here you basically classify the data structures into two types. One is built-in data structures and the other one is user-defined data structures. Normally if you learned by this time one or two programming languages, you might have come across the data structures, the so-called data types as integer, float, character, double, etc. and pointer is also going to be one of the data structures. And by few languages define aggregated predefined data types such as arrays, and you might have learned by this time what is a file, lists, etc. So again you classify them into, the lists are going to be classified into the linear list and non-linear list, and in linear list you come across the so-called the stacks, queues, and in non-linear the trees, graphs, etc. So basically you consider it as an integer where it stores the data in terms of 8-bit data, or if you consider it as a float then it stores the data in the form of say a 16-bit data or a 24-bit data, etc. It depends on again the machine and the language that you are going to make use of. And if it is the kind of a stack or how the queue is going to organize to store and retrieve the data, etc., that we will be studying in detail in the coming classes. So that we will discuss in the coming classes. So we understand what you call, for any subject you need to first understand the course objectives and the course outcomes. The course objective is basically it's going to specify a behavior or a skill or an action that you can demonstrate after going through this subject, what is the kind of knowledge that you are going to acquire. So that is what the course objective is. So the university describes the course objectives of the subject, the data structures, as will be explaining fundamentals of the data structures and their applications, which is going to be essential for any kind of programming and problem solving of that matter of fact. And followed by other objective is illustrate linear representation of the data structures of stacks, a queue or a list or a tree or a kind of a graph. We will be studying in detail about all these. So we will be studying, if you consider a kind of thing called a data structure called as a stack, we will be studying in respect of arrays, how a stack is going to be represented in terms of arrays, how a stack is going to be represented as a linked list, how a stack is going to be represented using other data structures. So we will find the different ways of representing and organizing the data using the different data structures. That we will be discussing throughout the syllabus. And you will be studying the demonstration, how a particular sorting algorithm works, how a searching algorithm works, etc. Every day when you sit on internet and you try to search in a Google search engine or Yahoo search engine or a Bing, how those search engines are going to basically work. The moment you put a word like a city, then how it is going to list out all the websites that are going to have the word city, how it is going to search throughout the different web pages, and how it is going to list out all those pages. It is all left to the searching and sorting algorithms. So behind the scenes, much of the data structures are going to come into picture that you will be studying throughout the syllabus. And followed by the other course objective is find suitable data structures doing application development problem solving. Say if you have been given the problem of a simple tic-tac-toe problem to be solved on a computer, where the tic-tac-toe is going to be like it is going to have a 3 pawns, where whenever the 3 pawns are going to be come in line in a row or in a column or in a diagonal, then the opponent wins. So likewise, if you have been given the problem, so what is the kind of data structure that can be used for solving that kind of a problem, and how best it can be solved. So whether shall I use stack or shall I use queue or any other data structure, so that efficiently I can solve that problem that you will be studying throughout the syllabus. So you need to better understand these course objectives. So followed by a glimpse of syllabus. You will be studying throughout the syllabus. What is the syllabus that you are going to study? Just a glimpse of it. In the very first module, you will be studying a preliminary data structures, how the static memory allocation happens, how the dynamic memory allocation happens, how a polynomial is going to work, and how a sparse matrix is going to work, etc. So normally if you have used pattern matching, like when you want to search a particular file in a DOS or in Windows, you will be using ABC star. So what does that mean is, all the files that are going to start with ABC are going to be listed out. So likewise, how a particular pattern matching algorithm are going to work, likewise that you are going to study in the first module. And in the second module, you will be coming across what you call the stacks, where and all the stacks are going to be applied. How do you use the stacks for the different programming applications? By this time you might have come across the so-called programming technique called as the recursion. So in the form of recursion, the factorial program or a Fibonacci program, or in this semester we will introduce what you call the Tower of Hanoi problem, etc. How you can apply the recursion, and in turn how the recursion is going to make use of the stacks to solve the problem of the recursive way of solving or calling a function by itself, how it is going to organize the data, etc. Because many of the scope resolution things that must happen in the background, that you will be understanding in the second module. Along with that one, you will be studying the queues, and followed by the different kinds of queues like priority queue, circular queue, etc., and DQ, etc. And also you will be coming across one of the important problem of that kind, which is going to be solved by making use of the queue called as the mazing problem. What is a mazing problem? Is like usually you might have a small kid goes through a newspaper, where in the newspaper there will be a game where an ant has to reach its destination by moving through the maze. So that kind of a problem, how you can picturize, and what are the different data structures that you can make use of to solve that problem of mazing. So likewise, in the second unit we will be studying in detail about the stacks and the so-called queues. And in third module onwards, in the third module you will be coming across the linked lists. So the linked list will be using the dynamic memory allocations. So dynamically, normally when you declare a variable like intc, you will be allotting the memory statically. But if you allot the memory in static means, and if you don't use it, then memory leakage happens. That you will understand in the later part of the syllabus. So always preferably the dynamic memory allocation, that too making use of linked list will be preferable. So you will be studying what you mean by linked list, what are the different types of linked list, and the important concept of any programming language called as the garbage collection, that you will be understanding. And how do you implement the same good old concept of stacks, queues, by using the linked lists and its varieties, that you will be studying in the third module. And in the fourth module you will be studying the extension of the linked list, like how you can insert, delete into single linked list, doubly linked list, or circularly linked list, and what are the different applications that you are going to study when you come across the linked list such as the polynomials, sparse matrix, and the other examples that you will be studying. And followed by, you will be coming across in the last module, the fifth module, called as the trees. So what is a tree is basically the Google search engine arranges all its search data where it has to search in the form of a tree. That we will be studying in the fifth module. So the binary trees, skewed binary trees, etc. So how you are going to represent a tree, how the dynamic memory allocation is going to be done, and how the arrays are going to be used for representing a tree, and how a linked representation you are going to come across, or you will be studying the way in which you can traverse the trees, like in order, pre-order, post-order, etc., and the way in which you can insert a node into the trees or delete a node in the tree, etc., and also the traversal techniques and the other applications that you are going to come across in the fifth module. So that will conclude your syllabus. This is the core subject of computer science and engineering. If you go through any competitive exams like a GATE exam, it is going to play a major role in the questions also. Many questions will be asked in the GATE question papers. So please try to study thoroughly this particular subject. So after the syllabus, we will go through some other aspects what you are going to learn in this subject, like in the kind of textbooks that you will be referring and the kind of reference books that you are going to referring. So we will mainly using Sartaj Sahani book, Ellis, Horowitz and Sartaj Sahani book is your prescribed textbook, and also you can refer Sham series for programming and theoretical concepts in Sahani book, and the other reference books will be like you can use with the Robert Cruz book or Tenenbaum book specifically, that are abundantly available in our library. So these, try to refer these textbooks, try to refer and make a note of every kind of programming that you come across, particularly in Sham series. That will be helpful for your career also. And as I told earlier, whichever the subject that you are going to study, first you need to understand what are the different course objectives. Along with that one, you need to understand what are the course outcomes also. So the course outcomes are going to define the demonstrable knowledge or the skills, dispositions that a graduate is going to possess after studying this particular subject. So what you are going to come across is like it is almost similar to earlier what I explained. You are going to explain fundamentals of the data structures and other applications essential for program and problem solving, and you will be studying the stacks, queues, trees, graphs, etc. You will be demonstrating searching and sorting algorithms, and you will be finding suitable data structure for a particular application development, etc. These are all the course outcomes. And you need to understand, before studying any sort of a subject, you need to better understand the applications. So when I study this particular subject, what may be the implications or applications of studying this subject? So there are numerous applications of this subject. Without this particular subject, no computer subject will be working at all. So you need to thoroughly understand every concept of this subject, where it will be useful in every aspect of computer science or wherever the computer is applicable. So for example, the CPU scheduling. When you open multiple programs in a computer, say for example, if you open Windows browser, along with that one if you open MS Word, etc. So the CPU has to give certain time, so that in that particular time it has to execute that particular program, a browser or a MS Word application or a notepad, etc. So that giving the time or scheduling the CPU time is going to be scheduled based on certain algorithms, those algorithms which will be using the underlying data structures. Along with that one, you will be using the data structures for syntax parsing. Say for example, within your C program, if somewhere a semicolon is going to miss out, it will identify that the program or the underlying compiler is going to identify that in a particular line, in a particular column, semicolon is missing out. So how is it possible is, it is all purely because of this data structures. Followed by, it is going to be useful in the applications of the forward and backward features of web browsers. So if you know the browsing history, so if you in the browsing history, the browser will take care of at what time which page you browsed. So you can go through the previously traversed or browsed page, or you can go to ahead of the pages. So it in turn uses the data structures. Basically the browser is also going to be a program which in turn it uses the data structures. So by this time, a simple program, it might have been illustrated in the very first sem or first year of CCP programming, the palindrome. Palindrome is either way you read, it must happen to have the same word. So likewise, either it can be recognition of a palindrome or searching a particular pattern, etc. For all those kinds, you need a data structures, without which no sorting algorithms will work. Also, it will be applicable in the field of computer networks. So whenever you sit on a computer and you say yahoo.com, it needs to get connected to a remote server located in a distant continent. So how it gets identified, how it gets connected to, is all based on the routing algorithms. There are many routing algorithms which in turn they use the what you call the data structures. That will explain in the coming syllabus. This is just a glimpse of where you are going to apply. The last application will be how you are going to organize the code and information in a digital space. So see, a very simple example is, if you have come across Python by this time, Python is very much space cautious, or even if you give a space, extra space also, it will identify and throw an error that your indentation is not proper. But that doesn't happen with respect to C or C++. So likewise, how do you organize the code, how the comments are written, how the program written a comment within the comments is going to be ignored by the compiler, etc. So such kind of applications that you will be studying throughout the rest of your computer science and engineering syllabus. So that is a small note on the kind of applications. So just to simply wind up for the day, as I told, this is going to be a kind of introduction class where you are going to be introduced to the subject as to what you are going to study, the kind of course outcomes, the kind of course objectives, etc., and a glimpse of syllabus and its applications that we discussed for the day. So I expect you to go through this video. I'll put every video I will be putting on to the YouTube, and I expect you to go through the YouTube video. And if you have any questions, please email me that you come across in your Google Classroom. Either you can post your question in the Google Classroom, or you can mail to my you can email to my mail ID. So just to have a glimpse, to wind up introduction, what I explained, what do you mean by a data structure as a way of organizing, storing, and its operations, how it is going to be rendered, etc. And I have explained for the day the course objectives and a glimpse of syllabus, and I have explained what is course outcomes, and I have explained the different applications. And also along with that one, I told you which are the textbooks and which are the reference books that you need to refer to. So for the day, I will be concluding, and we will join for the next class in the similar fashion online. Until the government order comes, we will be engaging the class only in the online manner. Thanks for attending, and see that you are going to attend the future classes also.